Hi, everybody. Welcome back to TV for Real, where reality and scripted TV collide. My name is Mike Bloom. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Sasha Joseph. Sasha, how's it going?
I cannot, all right? We're going to fuck them up today, all right? I'm so ready for who we have.
I'd like to bring some context to what that is, but I'm just, no, I'm going to let it linger. I'm going to let it lie. Those who know, the real ones know, and we're bringing in a real one today, an absolute superstar from the world of Big Brother 25. It is the one, the only Izzy Gleicher.
What up? How you doing? Happy to be here.
So happy to have you, Izzy, because you are someone who I think is more known for your binging habits when it came to blitzing through Big Brother before your season. Yeah. But I would imagine you got some other shows that you've been binging outside of reality television. We're here to talk all about that and the years upon years that you probably have of scripted TV taste.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, scripted TV has been a part of my life, like in different ways throughout, you know? So yeah, we got a relationship, you know?
What's the Facebook relationship status of you and scripted TV?
Oh, currently it's complicated.
Oh,
currently it's complicated because I just watch way too much reality TV. Like it's like complicated because all I want to do
relatable.
Like I feel, you know, like so much of us, I just watch it all the time. That's all I want to watch. So right now it's less. It's like more light. I was like thinking about it in eras, you know, like because I feel like I've gone through this like eras of how I've like watched TV. And right now I feel like I'm in my adult, tired, watches reality TV, like professional sports era, you know, like.
Gotcha.
So I like the sitcoms, the like short 20-minute things that I can just have on in the background. It doesn't matter that I'm paying attention to them or not. You know?
Yeah, so your era is Tortured Poets Department, but you're tortured more so by like shows that are longer than 30 minutes.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I love this. So let's take it back a little, right? Like when you were maybe in a relationship, fully committed, or married to reality TV. I mean,
okay, I'm
just kidding.
No. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is like we're absolutely vibrating in the same frequency.
Yes. So
yeah, like I would say, I was married to scripted TV when I was like late teenage, early.
Yes.
When I was like, I have dubbed it my horny, slowly coming out era.
Ooh.
So like anything where like two women even thought about kissing, I was in. I would watch 9 seasons to get there. You know what I mean? Like, of course, someone was like, bitch, you've never watched The L Word. Also wasn't out yet and was like, oh my God, what's that? You know, like, what could that be? You know? And then it was like obsessed with The L Word and have all these opinions and like, things like that.
So that's so interesting. So how much did you extrapolate? Like, are you watching shows and you're like looking for charged moments to be like, oh my God, what's going on there?
I mean, I think like I didn't realize that was what I was doing. That was what I was doing, you know, like the Callie Torres, Arizona Robbins on Grey's Anatomy. Like I maybe think about it to this day, even though it is actually the most heterosexual, like binary representation of like coming out or queerness or whatever, you know what I mean? Like that's also always sprinkled in there, but I will dream about that. I wanted to not use the word dream, but no, like I will dream about that to this day. You know, the musical episode shaped me.
Oh my God. That's a real one right here, y'all.
Yeah. And this is like a little, I also think about this. Jessica Capshaw, who is Arizona Robbins in Grey's Anatomy, had like a bizarre cameo on The L Word, like as like a professor type that like maybe was gonna maybe gonna have an affair. I think there was. I like don't remember it, but I remember I loved the crossovers. You know, like I loved Leah Remini.
Oh yes,
fan, and she was in Saved by the Bell and King of Queens.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, did you follow any specific actors like from show to show?
I mean, it's funny because like I didn't think that's what I was doing, you know, but when it came to like movies, it was like I saw everything Kate Winslet has ever done ever. You know what I mean?
As you should. She's a brilliant actress.
Absolutely. You know, it was the titties. You know?
Yeah, I was like, please be so serious.
Yeah, like,
Mike is so kind, and I was like, girl, I get where it's thrown down.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so anyway, but yeah.
How am I, the man coming in here and being like, but her work is so beautiful?
Her eyes are up here.
Made for lesbians. That's why Titanic was made for lesbians. Yeah, that's why.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Listen, it was a little something for all of us because when Titanic came out, I think that's when I was like, oh, I like people. I like boys. Like, look at Leo.
Right.
They don't do it like him no more.
And it's interesting how many awakenings came about with like one of the greatest disasters in human history. Like, God, when people are in danger, they're at their hottest.
The horniest when you're
Thank you. Oh my God. Paint me like one of your friends. What do you mean? That car scene where the sweat, like the hand.
Listen, my group of friends would have to come over to my apartment to watch Titanic because my parents didn't give a shit. Like my dad smoked weed all day throughout the day, and my mom like would run through the house naked and like, you know, trying to hula hoop and be in the circus. You know what I mean? Like that was the vibe. And so they didn't care. They're like, the thing my parents didn't like was violence, like pacifists, you know, very leftist. Like they didn't want overt violence in the house, but nothing was censored. Nothing at all. Like literally I would sit on the couch next to my mom watching Sex and the City and 6 Feet Under. I was like a kid who only I'm an only child. I was like a kid who only hung out with adults. So like it's funny, I was like thinking about this in relationship to this because I felt so disconnected in the Big Brother house to a lot of the house guests in regards to like pop culture. And as I was thinking about this, I realized it's like, well, I never was connected to my generation in terms of pop culture. Like I was always connected to like people 20, 30 years older than me. And like me and Paige were talking about it because she's the only person I've dated, been with that's younger than me. Like everyone else is quite a bit older than me. And she was like, well, yeah, because when we met, I was then age appropriate to everyone you were dating when you were younger, you know, like just this funny, I related to like older people when I was younger. So like my tastes in television and like what I was watching and stuff was just like not what my friends were watching or something.
Yeah, I would imagine that like people were coming around being like, oh yeah, did you see, I don't know, the latest episode of like 24? You're like, yeah, but that zinger that Samantha put out in last week's Sex in the City.
You see what Big did again? Oh, you know.
No, Izzy, you like brought something up for me with that because I'm also an only child and raised by a single mom. So, and we watched Sex and the City together. Like when the movie came out, my mom was like, you will not watch it without me.
Right, exactly.
Like, you know, this is like our bonding. We watched Bridgerton together as well. Because again, sex even though we're Indian, was never necessarily taboo, just very much like, hey, do you know what's going on? This is so wow, I never like put that together that I wonder if like being an only child was a reason why all of this just felt quote unquote normal and more like sibling with our parents.
Totally. That's how I felt. I mean, like I liked when my parents had like dinner parties. Like I thought my parents' friends were cool. You know what I mean? Like and I think I was always hanging out with adults, like I could have conversations. Like I wasn't like a kid's kid, you know? Like, you know, and I was very into classical flute. Like that's not a kid's kid thing. Like I was already like kind of like a little baby intellectual or something without knowing it, you know, like my interests were very much like that, you know? So anyway, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think about that when it comes to like, because I talked about this on the Pride is Spoken, that like as an adult, I've realized that like society really has such an impact on you because like, you know, my mom's good friend when I was growing up did drag and would come over for my birthday parties and teach us like dance routines. And we would be all dressed up because I loved costume parties. And like that was the house this little baby Dyke was raised in. And I was so like repressed isn't even the word. I like didn't even know that I could be that. And it's like, I think the reason representation is like complicated is because like, you don't realize how much you're missing until you get a crumb of it. And so like seeing two women even just like realize that they like could hold hands, I was like chomping at the bit to like see that, to see it into realization or something, you know? And like straight people just like, if there's a romantic storyline, it is a given that they are having it in a show. You just see that what you fantasize about is real and is something that people want. You know? And so like, it's like hard because I feel bad. That's like the thing about my coming out that me and my parents had was like, wow, I can't believe you didn't trust us to talk about this. And it was like, it actually had nothing to do with you. Like, thank you, because wow, this would have been hard.
No,
if you weren't like that, you know?
No, it really is this idea that stories are incredibly powerful. And yet, to your point, I think it's less so a matter of like, oh, I didn't trust you enough to tell you. I think it was more so for you a matter of like, I didn't know this was possible. And again, it's super odd to say, and this is completely apples and oranges, but I know for me, I only found out like I had anxiety because I watched an episode of BoJack Horseman where there was an inner monologue, and I'm like, wait, do people not think this all the time? Like, oh wait, I am manically depressed. Wow, I had no idea. And like, our imaginations can be incredible things, but they only go so far, especially when it comes to like reflecting it back onto yourself.
Totally. Oh yeah, I mean that's like the most relatable thing for me. Like that feels so relatable. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we can take a moment.
I know. I was like, I was like, can we just exhale? Because that was wild.
I love this.
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we could change it. Like, I'm obsessed with King of Queens. That's a scripted show that I think is the best scripted show that's ever been
All right,
written.
so talk to me about this, because I was a pretty big King of Queens fan, like back in the day. Does it hold up nowadays?
Okay, so that is Mike Bloom. That's a big thing for me. Like that's as I become like a new fanatic of like social strategy, reality TV, that's hard for me. How things age. Like it's hard for me to get into those early seasons, not having seen them in real time, because it's like, are we serious that we think this is good or okay? Or like, that's hard for me. So I actually do that. We judge that a lot, like the hold up thing, like The Office doesn't hold up. The Office doesn't hold up, I don't think. But I actually think King of Queens like showed this like beautiful, this is going to be, you're not going to expect this maybe, but I think was like one of the best representations of like a platonic soulmate. Like Deacon and Doug like have these jokes about being married or in situations where, well, we'll just be a couple. And it is genuine. Like there is love. There is no homophobia. It's like, oh, but I want to be your wife. Not in like a weird way, but it's like, it's like an affectionate, but like, I want to cook for you. It's like, obviously it's sprinkled with something, but it's like this like really genuine, endearing relationship. And I love that. And so like most of the weird, like potential homophobic stuff actually, I think is handled really like well and is genuinely funny on King of Queens. So there you go. That's my little spiel.
No, I mean, I would say, especially from that aspect, I bet it holds up a lot better than something like Friends, which I feel like has been especially targeted for
to watch it.
Or homophobia, transphobia, etc. But yeah, King of Queens, I always really liked, and I guess my hot take, which seems completely lukewarm compared to yours, is like I always liked King of Queens better than Everybody Loves Raymond, because I was huge into those CBS sitcoms, and Everybody Loves Raymond was so goddamn whiny of a show. Like it was all about, because at least like, yes, Doug Heffernan was like a little bit of a clod and he was a little selfish, but like Ray Barone, which was Ray Romano's character, was like an absolute oaf who just complained all the time.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny is like, I actually don't remember which came first, but one of them is a spin-off of the other. And there's like, I guess it must be King of Queens is a spinoff of Everyone Loves Raymond, because I think it was in the first season of King of Queens that there were these like Raymond episodes, and like they were the worst episodes of the whole series. Like up until the end when they tried to like it's not fun, they don't know how to end a sitcom like that and it becomes serious and it's bad. But like other than that, King of Queens in its heyday, the Ray Barone crossover episodes are the worst.
Yeah, I honestly forgot about Everybody Loves Raymond. And I, again, as someone that watched both of them, it's just the boy mom piece of it all was killing me for Everybody Loves Raymond. I was like, enough. We get it. You hate your wife and you hate your kid. Like it's cute. But with King of Queens, it felt like, and when they didn't have kids. So it felt really interesting for me. Again, growing up in a community, right, where like, the Everybody Loves Raymond family is way more normal or normalized than the King of Queens. That felt fun because I was like, look at these two like badass people just living their life, and then they have that crazy dad that lives downstairs. But outside of that, it felt like just too adult, like having fun, being with each other.
I just like, maybe it's also because like I loved that whenever the plot point of a kid came up in the series, it was always Carrie, the wife, who was like the most against it. And that like I like identify with that. Like even when I was a kid, I wasn't a kid's kid. Even as a kid, I hated kids. Like I've never wanted kids. I don't care about your kid. Like I'm not like a kid person. And like I was like, wow, true. Like it was like it felt revolutionary that they could like, and I also think it was like a show where like, yes, they made fun of Doug's weight.
Yeah.
But I actually think like I loved seeing how much they really showed that like Carrie thought Doug was sexy, and like having sex and like being into each other was like integral to their relationship. And I also thought that was like kind of beautiful, you know?
Right.
So,
yeah.
like, I love that a lot.
Definitely a little bit, especially with Carrie's character in particular, a little bit of a deviation from this formula of sort of like, you know, fat guy, main character, and kind of like naggy shrew wife. Because like, I think this was obviously supposed to be some sort of takeoff on like the Honeymooners format, right? And that was obviously steering a bit more into those tropes. But I think with Carrie in particular, they certainly made her incredibly complicated and like someone that was willing to kind of clap back at Doug when he was in his bullshit.
Totally. The Honeymooners dream sequence episode when he's sick after flag football. Oh, I love King of Queens. Okay, anyway.
No, it's so cute.
So what was your feelings when
here's a Big Brother fun fact for you here related to King of Queens. So like I dug on the internet, no pun intended.
Yeah, I was like, ooh. Yeah,
wow. But I like looked to find DVDs of the whole King of Queens series, and I ended up finding them. They came, and the DVD, it's like one of those things where like it was clearly burned on some dude's computer, and it has like a printed out top that has like the season 2 episodes 3 through 7, you know, whatever. And I packed that in my sequester bag, and it wasn't allowed into sequester.
Boo, tomato.
Imagine the mindset you would have come into the game with. How much things would have changed had you been able to watch all of the King of Queens while you were waiting?
A lot more puns, a lot more like oni, you know, like I wouldn't have been my best self. It was maybe for the best.
So how did you feel? Was it complicated for you when you found those memes of Corey photoshopped onto the Kevin James promo pics?
I mean, I loved it. I ate it up. You know, it may or may not have been my phone background for a minute. No, I'm kidding.
I love it.
I thought that was so funny. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Anyway.
What do you watch any sitcoms now? Because that's the other thing is like, as we talk about what holds up and what doesn't, like Everybody Loves Raymond especially kind of feels like a symptom of its time of like the late 90s, early 2000s. And I think a lot of the discourse, especially now with the Emmys, is like, what is a comedy? Do you watch any like modern day sitcoms?
I mean, I love like Broad City, which isn't like current anymore, but love that. Abbott Elementary. That's like probably the most like obsessed with Abbott Elementary. I love Sex Lives of College Girls. I don't know if that counts as a sitcom, but it feels that way, right?
It is. I love, even Mindy will pay for her crimes, but I love it. I feel like I can say it. Because why are the Indian girls always falling for the white guys? Anyway, sorry. And hate being Indian and hairy. Like, shut up.
I totally agree with that.
No, it's just like never have I ever. Same thing. Wilma, same thing. Office girl, go therapy. Please.
Deal with your own shit so we don't have to deal with it for you. Come on.
Like my word. But anyway, sorry, it's not about me. No, it's just I really enjoy, both Sex Lives of College Girls and Abbott because again, it feels so different. From I feel like it's the same vein as King of Queens where it like they feel like they're on its own journey, right? Like Abbott, you could say, oh, The Office, blah, blah, blah. No. Quinta is doing a completely different thing, and this ensemble cast is so good.
The chemistry is so good. The Melissa with the Italian. I love her. Barbara Howard's my favorite character.
Of course,
like queen. Yeah, I love Abbott Elementary. I think it's like totally doing something. I think Abbott Elementary is like, it's like figured it out. Like you don't have to be funny by like marginalizing or by like making fun of people's just existence. Like you don't have to be mean to be funny. Like it's revolutionizing that, you know? Like,
Yep.
and so I think what I love about it most is that it's going to hold up. Like, when is Abbott Elementary not going to be like a great sort of representation of like American TV? Like we maybe finally got one, you know, like
that's interesting because again, this is maybe a little tangential, but I was thinking about like ABC sitcoms. My algorithm put me down a rabbit hole of like watching clips from Modern Family. And I don't know, maybe it's the name Family in the title, but that show is like a little darker and a little bluer than I remembered it being colored. Like, I had forgotten how sharp some of that comedy could be. Maybe I just assumed that it's been sort of like broad brushed into generic sitcom tropes, and maybe it was by the end. I didn't watch all 1,200 seasons or whatever it was. But yeah, it's interesting to sort of also compare it of like, it took the Office format, but like, the more you think about it, the less it makes sense. Like, why is there a camera crew inside of an elementary school? What are they trying to film? But it's more so using it for like the structure of having people just give their like completely unfiltered thoughts to the camera rather than trying to hold everything in.
Yeah. I've actually never seen an episode of Modern Family.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I have seen, start to finish the whole thing. But yeah, I enjoyed it. But I think that again is not, it's a product of that time.
Right.
And I think we can leave it there, not in a hateful way. It's just versus, I think like when we think about an Abbott, it's very much, I think, stays because it deals with culture and current topics and makes them universal. I feel that's why I really enjoy Abbott. And then they keep trying to add like school shooting, like all that kind of weird trauma. Like folks are asking for that, and I appreciate how the creators and the writers are like, no, we're just not going to add trauma. Like that's weird.
This is not related to like not adding trauma, because the premise of this other show is trauma. But I like stopped watching Grey's Anatomy during the COVID season.
Right,
I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, I actually wish they weren't in our reality. Like I kind of just quit. And I was like, you know, at the time it felt too soon. I was like shocked that something as like soap opera-y was making me feel like this is too soon. But it's like, yeah, to me, it missed the mark. To me, it would have been like, I've been very on this kick of like committing to the bit. And it's like, commit to the bit. Like you are your own world where people are getting shot every other day and run through trains and they're alive and they're doctors and now they're on boards and like you're just doing all this stuff. Like just exist in this weird other planet and be our escapism. Like I feel like it could have had a resurgence.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy. Do they make reference to like current events? Are they like, well, that Obama, look what he's doing?
Not that like obvious, but like I would say there's like a world where it has that you could interpret it as having nothing to do with our reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I very much agree. I stopped watching spoiler. Okay, fast forward real quick, everyone. Okay, when or maybe I won't say the name, but one of the characters died on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's when I say it's wraps. Like you just don't want your main character to ever be.
Listen, they had me at 007, but I was still watching. Okay,
right, exactly. When you're like, oh, okay, fine. Like it's a little bit trauma porny, but like I'm into like fine, I'm watching.
Yeah.
But then it's just like you're like free yourself, Grey's Anatomy people.
Exactly. So it's like the opposite. Like Abbott Elementary has figured out how to free themselves. And Grey's Anatomy needs some unzipping, No,
I'm with you on that.
I know there's a lot of unzipping on that show, though. It seems like everybody's getting it in.
Valid.
Listen, I grew that in my horny era.
Yeah. So, okay, this is again another show that my family, like all of us, my cousins and I, because when I moved to America, we lived with our cousins, but we all watched like that Thursday block of Grey's Anatomy and then Scandal and then How to Get Away.
Yeah, How to Get Away came into the picture, like the Shondaland night.
I loved me some Private Practice.
Practice, yes.
Private Addison Montgomery.
Like when Addison just goes on her own journey.
Yeah, from Kate Winslet to Addison I clearly have a type,
Yeah. I see it. That's
like the same world,
Yeah, 100% it is. No, so I'd love to hear more about that. So, so do you feel like you're more likely to gravitate toward, characters that feel like that feel like are filling a void or that you didn't even maybe know existed, right? You talk a lot about I didn't see representation and now, you know, X, Y, and Z. So is that also how you consume, you know, media?
I think so. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I guess I do really see, it's funny because I used to view reality TV as my escapism, but once it became a reality in my life, I haven't had the same relationship to it. Funny how that works. Yeah. And so like, I do now understand how much escapism is in the content that I consume. So like, yeah, like I definitely, it's me and Paige talk about it as if like, I gravitate towards characters who I either want to be, like who I wish that I like was in whatever way, or that I want to screw. You know, like that's
period.
Like that's who I'm invested in scripted TV, which is like so funny because it's like so not how I play. Like I hate a showmance. You know what I mean? Like
I know, but yeah, but that's your escapism, right? It's you're so focused on that you're like, God, but I just want to dream of that little fairy tale romance. Let me check out what's going on here.
Come over here.
Come on, you know. But yeah, so I mean, like, yes, I was team Addison Montgomery like the whole way. Like I even stopped watching Grey's for a while to only watch Private Practice. I was that like
a real one.
I was a real one. And then I was like, oh my God, they're doing crossovers. Okay, I gotta catch up. You know, like that was what happened. So yeah. I followed my girls around, you know, for sure.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Do you feel like there are certain shows that you are most excited to introduce to people?
Oh, good question.
Like that, like
that you're just like, you have to watch.
Let's say your best friend approaches you and is like, I'm looking to get into a new show. What haven't I seen that I could get into?
Okay, are you hoping for these to be obscure or just like
no. What is
anything
to you?
Okay, I have two. They're for two different audiences. You know, I'm here for everyone. Yeah. So the first one is Friday Night Lights.
Ooh, I
love
it.
Friday Night Lights, and I thought that because I was like, oh my God, how can I think about these other women without thinking about Connie Britton? Because she's done so much for me. So like, you gotta watch Friday Night Lights, and I do think the whole series, even as it gets soap opera-y, and even as like, how is this person still in high school? You know, 45 now.
Yeah,
you know,
see
like
the wrinkles.
So like, yeah, there are plot holes everywhere, but it's like it's just so entertaining. It's so intense for no reason, which is clearly my brand, and like it's just so passionate, and like so that's one. And the other one, which is maybe also obscure, do you remember Stars? Like the like channel Stars?
Yes.
So they had a show called Spartacus.
Yes.
I've heard. Mike, have I heard you talk about this?
I haven't talked about Spartacus.
Oh my God.
Not like on a podcast, but yeah. I know.
It is the truest, most like micro, the seed of all of my escapism lives in like gladiator worlds. Like
well, it's interesting because Spartacus had a really loyal following, if I'm remembering correctly, because it aired on Stars from like 2011 to 2012.
Yeah, they did like prologues and like every season. It was like the star. I've never seen Star Wars. Don't even crucify me for that. But it's like all out of order. That's as much as I know. Spartacus also. It's like this season we're before, this season we're after. It's so good. Anyway. Yeah.
Did you see the? All right, I guess Spartacus Blood and Sand was the first season, and I guess that's the weird thing. They did that thing that like Heroes did and like Power did, where it's like each season has a title to it. Right. Each season is a book in this library.
Yeah. Is its own journey, its own narrative. It's like only one or two characters like overlap.
Oh.
You know? But I loved it. Everyone was naked. Everyone was humping everybody. I loved it.
I mean, when in Rome, quite literally.
Yeah.
Literally. They're all dirty. They're all wrestling. I love American Ninja Warrior. You know, it's like we're scratching all the itches here, you know?
Yeah, it looks like it's coming back, ?
Ninja?
No, Spartacus, sorry. House of Asher.
That's my son's name.
I know. That sounds like we had to say it.
Don't let him watch it.
That's where I live. I live in the House of Asher. Did they film here?
H-U-R. I hope that's Asher. I don't know. But allegedly.
Well, because wasn't the thing with Spartacus, or maybe I'm thinking of Rome, that I believe one of the lead actors died in that show, and so they
had to have a different person.
They had to recast him, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Spartacus and Friday Night Lights. One for the day, one for the night.
Did you follow Connie Britton to Nashville or any of the other stuff she's done?
I did watch Nashville.
Yes, I watched like the first season with my mom.
Yeah, I did watch Nashville. It's like hard in some ways, but I think Nashville was like pretty entertaining. Anything about the music industry, I think, is pretty hilarious because it's nothing like.
I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Like, are you one of those people to watch something like this and sort of shake your fist and be like, "This is not the way it's personified at all"? Or to your point, is it because it's so removed from your reality? Or like, yeah, this is an imaginary universe where you can get a contract doing this stuff.
Totally, yeah, totally. I mean, like, I couldn't watch Mozart in the Jungle. You know what I mean? Like, you remember that? Like, it wasn't very. I don't think it was a very good show. Like, separate from not being like a great representation of like classical music, call it undergrads, like, so anyway, yeah.
Well, speaking of Connie Britton, I should also mention another thing that you probably followed her too, because I know it's something that you have watched a lot of as well and has a bit of a Survivor connection, White Lotus.
Yes. I thought she was brilliant on White Lotus. She's the perfect, like, oblivious, gorgeous white woman. You know what I mean? Like, she just plays it so well. What was that other one she was in, Dear John? That was like about a true story.
Yes. Was that like a Nicholas Sparks movie? Oh no, there was another one.
Okay, that was definitely a thing. I maybe I'm getting the title of the show wrong, but it was like based on true events of like this man that like scams women, basically, gets them to marry him, and like Dirty John?
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Oh, I
Dirty John.
I have to watch this.
Dirty John. Yeah. That was good.
I was like, do you mean the Tinder swindler?
Listen, that too.
That's all I was thinking. I was like, what do you mean?
On Tinder's.
Well, okay, so it's interesting. So she was in Dirty John and Dear Edward. So I think you just kind of mix the two together.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
Like half of these could be made up. Like there's too many shows nowadays.
There are too many shows.
Which is why you're on reality TV right now. It's complicated with scripted.
It's complicated.
Oh, I love this. Do you feel like there are any shows like when you were little? Because I'm really like fascinated by this. Like, I wasn't a kid, but I'm watching all of this. So were there any shows you feel like when you were little that like you watched a lot and that you feel shaped you? Or is Sex and the City that?
No, I mean,
well,
I get. Yeah, I mean, I guess like I was like of that era of like Disney Channel and like even Stevens, and like they reshowed Smart Guy. Remember that show?
Oh, yes, I love Smart Guy.
So, like, I watched that. Like, I watched those kind of shows a lot. So I feel like I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think TV really shaped me in that way exactly. Like, it's funny. Like, it's even hard for me to think about as like a kid, like little, like what I was watching. That's how like maybe disconnected to it. And it's not because I wasn't. I was definitely watching. But like, I guess I watched a lot of sports with my dad.
Gotcha.
And things like that. And like whatever my mom wanted to watch. The news was on all the time. Like I was, so like
Yeah, no wonder you're looking to shows to escape, considering that you grew up taking in so much news, basically 24/7.
Yeah, my dad was an economist.
Oh.
Yeah, so like it was like a lot of news, watching boxing was his escapism. This like little 5'6" Jewish man who's an economist and like Marxist, like loved to unwind watching boxing.
And mind you, no violence is allowed in that.
Exactly. I know that was like conversation's a loose word. That was a thing between him and my mom. I was like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a psychological study of like, is there something repressed here that you're trying to exhibit through the things you watch?
Listen, the Gleichers have duality, okay?
Period. Dimensional family right here, okay?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that answered your question. I would say
I did. Yeah, because that's what I wanted to know. I was like, yeah, so how did, like, whatever that may mean, the answer could be nothing, but.
Well, yeah, it's like funny. My mom recently gave me like a notebook that like a diary, but I didn't write anything in it, but it was like a diary that I had as a kid. I remember this. I would make these like collage diaries, like notebooks. Like I'm like yeah, I would just, and so I would like cut things out of magazines, do that very kid thing. And it was all, and I was like, wow, it is literally like, I want to be Usher, you know, like that's why this topless photo of Usher is in this notebook. You know, like I was like, damn, like I want to look like that, you know, like I want to be Usher. And then you would flip to the middle of it. And then it was like all picture of like female athletes, like Diana Taurasi, Becky Hammond, like all these like women, you know, and Paige is like, wow, you would like hide. It would be like, get out the man stuff that you could kind of pretend is like, ooh, I think Usher's so hot. But really, I just was like, why can't I figure out that I want to wear men's clothing and cut my hair and wear a chain, you know, like why don't I identified with that in that way and couldn't make the connection that that's what the feeling was, you know?
Oh, I love that.
That's amazing.
So like, I do think like in that way, that
feels
related in a lot of ways. I was really like,
yeah, it's like that thing from cartoons where like the kid who slacks off in class has a book, but there's like a bag of chips hollowed out inside. That was your notebook of like, oh, don't worry, mom, just check it out. This hottie for toddy Usher.
Oh my God, just like she's not subtle. She's never been subtle.
I hope you keep that forever because that is so
I know it's like
to me.
So funny. And like I'm now telling you too many details about this.
No,
but
please.
It's so revealing. Like I just like felt so seen in not a good way by this notebook. On the cover, I had cut out words that then made a sentence, and it was like never count this one out or something. Like it was very like
not you on Big Brother before you were on Big Brother.
I know, and I was like, damn, I maybe also should go to therapy. You know, like, like what? This is like really a consistent through line, you know, for me.
Wow.
Anyway,
Oh my God. Izzy Bucks coming soon.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my God. And this is like also, I imagine like confessional era Usher as well. Like this is like peak.
Let it burn.
Let it burn.
Stop
Let
it.
it burn. Oh yes, I was obsessed with Usher.
Oh my God. It's the way, because I think he stopped his thing in Vegas, right? Bummer.
Yes,
because I would have been there, baby.
Me too.
I would have been Kiki Palmer. My husband would have been like, you have a husband now.
I mean, maybe he went out on quote unquote top after that Super Bowl performance. He's like, listen, if I can't roller skate, I'm not doing Vegas anymore.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I love that Usher was, again, part of all of our sexual awakenings, but in such different ways.
I mean, for me as well, because it'd be like habit growing up in the 2000s. Yes. What you would do at school dances is you would grind. And the song of choice.
Louder for the ones in the back.
And so the songs of choice for proper grinding were always like, get low, like, and so again, Usher's confessions were like, you know, part of the playlist for me when it came to exploring options on particular nights.
No,
particular nights.
Is this all a like teenage Jewish thing? Cause same, like I'm at BBYO, at this youth group, and mind you, I've moved to America 1 month before. So thick ass accent, like with these obviously I'm in Oklahoma, so it's white Jews and me. And they're like, so you're Jewish? And I was like, yes, Indian Jews exist, but whatever. And then they're like, great, it's now like the dance time, so you should come. And then I learned grind. And then and I was like, what is this? What do you mean? This is normal? Like, and the power dynamics was like old, like, it's for high schoolers, so it's very interesting. But anyway, and it's Usher. Obviously, my first ever grinding song was I'm like, what is this, a young Jewish thing?
I mean, there was always such odd decorum with that as well, because it's like, if I spy one of my compatriots engaging in the same activity, do I make eye contact with them? Am I like, shout out to you? Am I supposed to be, is it improper to not be concentrated in what's happening at the time? Because I'll admit, and maybe this was my early signs of ADHD, I would lose focus eventually. If a song's like 3 or 4 minutes long, I'm like, great, we've kind of done the 1, 2. Can I move on to 3 and 4? No? Okay, well, What's going on? Oh, look at this flower arrangement.
Imagine young Mike Bloom grinding to Usher.
I
bro.
will never not, you know, like I will never not think about that now, Mike. Like,
I mean, it's extended to the you know, early 2000s. I may or may not have grinded with my now wife.
Oh, period.
Of our college career.
yeah, I sure hope so. Damn.
Yeah.
Which led to the House of Asher in more ways than one.
Yeah. Good for you, Mike.
Period. Mike said, and what?
Yeah.
But it's so interesting because I do feel like, to your point, is he like in that era, maybe just because like Usher represented this like upfront masculinity, but it felt like everybody wanted to be him for whatever reason.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was the one that either skipped the dance to go smoke weed somewhere, or stood in the corner like, oh God, like the whole time, and just quietly just like pressure cooker dancing to Usher.
Meanwhile, in your mind, you've actually practiced the whole Usher.
Yeah, exactly. That was actually your whole routine. I did, you know. That's like,
yeah, I think
that's how I calm down.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine the pressure. Yeah, in that generation, like our generation, like growing up on kids that don't fit the stereotypical dancing. Yeah.
This is only because it's like grinding. I'll say one. We'll move on. But I found the horrible place that is Facebook. You know, the scary place. But like I got like a notification of like a old picture, and I was like, I literally don't even know what compelled me to click on the link because I haven't for years. And I clicked on it, and it was a picture of me. I still remember her. Shout out to Crystal. She was also a flute player. She was 2 years older than me, just my type. And it's like a picture. I remember this. We're like standing outside the gym, and I'm like leaning against the wall, and she's like in front of me. I got my hand on her hip, and we're just like, what up? And it's like the most comfortable looking picture of me in like all of high school, you know? And it's just like, I loved it. Please stand there all day, you know? Like,
shout out Crystal, bro.
Very good, Crystal.
Yeah. I hope she's doing good.
Anyway. I'm curious, Izzy, if there was a scripted version of Big Brother 25.
Oh, right. I knew you were going to ask something like this. I didn't even prepare for this.
Who would you cast to play yourself?
Oh God, this is going to expose that I just like don't even remember people's names or things like that. Maybe Leah Remini.
Oh,
can we butch up Leah Remini? No, it's got to be. Or actually, I know that there's complications with this. Like I'm being the person that I am, but Sam J. I would want Sam J to play me in like a. I identify with so much of Sam J's stuff, like that. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. And I think we have similar senses of humor. And so I think I'm putting in Sam J.
No, we're gonna Bridgerton-ify.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I want, you know?
Yeah.
Like that OG Cinderella.
You
remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandy Cinderella.
Oh, bro, you're talking about like the 90s Cinderella?
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming, right? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
No. Oh, that's a hard one. Oh, see, it's like, damn, I want to think about it. Tig Notaro, I don't know.
Tig Notaro would be great as well, yeah.
Tig Notaro could be a good one. I guess maybe, I don't know why I'm going with comedians. It's like maybe flattering myself or something.
No, I
mean, listen, only so many people can deliver I want to fuck them up in a very nice way, the way you did.
Literally my favorite gif. And now that like we know each other, and I feel like so awk using it, but I was like, I'm still gonna do it because like.
Are you kidding? Because I actually, here's a little insight. I only text my friends gifs of me.
Okay,
now.
thank you. Okay, perfect. Because I'm like, dang it, you like will like my things. I don't want to be awk and like freaking posting this, but it really is my reaction. Oh.
I mean, I do wonder how many people, either like scripted or reality TV stars, do that, right? Like, do you think actors like will respond with pictures like Tumblr posts of does Connie Britton respond to things with like one of her quotes from Friday Night Lights?
I hope so. No, I do it because isn't that hilarious? Like the audacity, like that, you know, like that's why I do it, because I'm being like a little bitch, you know. I'm like,
I love it.
But yeah, I don't know. Who do you think? I mean, I think some celebrities do. You know, like
Will Smith probably does.
Zac Efron would be interesting because, like, does he use High School Musical air? Because there's a while where he was trying to like escape from that.
No. He's not doing that. He's doing post-plastic surgery fillers.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, first of all, don't piss me off because I'm pissed again thinking about what he did to his face.
It's so cringe.
Him and Nicole Kidman in that movie,
it's like not believable. You got to look like a real person.
It's uncanny valley watching them, both of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they're so attractive. Yeah. Well, fix it, Lord.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, Zac Efron, another one. And I'm not even into like white boys like that, but boy, Zac Efron, or like pre-plastic surgery.
Listen, I've never even seen High School Musical, and I was obsessed with Zac Efron.
Please.
What?
You
so
must.
What, like the idea of him?
I was obsessed with Zac Efron, like after he became a man and before plastic surgery. Like,
yes.
What was that movie that he was?
Oh, I was gonna say because he did kind of look like a lesbian in his teen years, so I was like, maybe that makes sense.
But it's like I like him because I want to be him. Like that's the type of growing out my hair, like I am.
So you're like the Neighbors. When he was on the Neighbors and
Neighbors are like 17 again. Was that too young for Zac Efron?
What was that weird movie that's like so God coded, which is like cringe? But I watched it because of him, and it's like his like girlfriend is dead, or there's like a dead woman, or his brother died. He's like an Olympic sailor.
Oh yes.
And then he like meets
It was like the Lucky One or the Paper Boy, like one of those. It was because I feel like that was one of his like Nicholas Sparks movies.
Yes, it's like a Nicholas.
Yes, I know. Not me forgetting the name.
Like maybe more times than I should have watched that. Actually, like
I just watched Ricky Stenicki because of him. I'm not even joking. Because I'm so into him.
Was it good?
The Lucky One is the one we're talking about.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, it's a movie.
It's a movie at this point.
Yeah, it's a movie.
Yeah.
John Cena, bless his heart, Greatest Showman. He was really good too, and the fact that a lot of times Zac Efron is paired with like Black women, in my mind, that equals like he hopefully likes women of color. Because then again, growing up in Oklahoma, a lot of the like white guys weren't into women of color. Then Nick Jonas, Priyanka Chopra happened. I say it's over for y'all.
Yeah. Right, it's done. That's it.
We made it, baby. Not that I live for white, gays or anything. But anyway, not the point. It's just Zac Efron hottie. Okay. Yeah. And I just love that he goes on Ellen, of all people, but he's like, you don't subscribe to my body type. This is not normal. Da-da-da. And I was like, I love him. Yeah. I love him. He gets it.
He gets it. I think he gets it. I want to think he gets it.
Yeah.
Again, I think for a while he was trying to like outchase all that, but I think he's not only staring into the curve, he's also like, yeah, I know what you all think of me. And like, I get it, but also please don't objectify me like this because it's not good for me or for you.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what he did this way. Anyway, yeah. It's hard. It's hard to be teen.
It is hard to be a teen.
Oof. And speaking of casting, because I always ask everyone this, Izzy, is there a shows that I think we know the answer, most likely, but still, that you would want to be on the cast of? Either as yourself or replacing a character. Up to you.
Oh my God, like on one of these shows.
Yes.
Or on any show that you want to be on.
Any shows that you're into.
I mean, I would want to be in Charmed.
Ooh, now original or reboot?
Well, original. I mean,
I was like, please be serious.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I appreciate the effort there, but no, it's like OG. I think that I would want to be, because we can't Shannon Darity. It's not, but I would want to see when they replaced Sorry Baby, but like when they replaced it with Paige, with what's her name in real life? Rose McGowan.
Oh, yes.
That was not it. So I think I should replace Paige.
I like that.
Oh, okay, so you're sort of like the third one to come in, or just Paige never exists.
No, second, because maybe Rose doesn't exist in our timeline.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I was very into witches. It's like it all.
Yeah.
All the lines connect now. I was very into witches, and I also love Charmed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you check out any? I would say quite literally, there's a show called Supernatural, but like, were you into some of those like supernatural types of shows at the time?
I wasn't into Supernatural because there were too many boys in it.
Mm-hmm. What about like Buffy? Were you a Buffy girl?
Okay, that was what was funny. I felt very Charmed loyal, and so I never watched Buffy like in real time. And like later on, you know, like one of my first girlfriends or something was like, "Oh my god, I'm obsessed with Buffy," and we tried to watch Buffy, and I was like, "No," like I just couldn't. Like I just like somehow couldn't do it, you know. Yeah, so I was like a Charmed girly, but you know what I loved was Fringe.
Okay, yes, let's talk about this. Fringe.
I loved Fringe, and obviously strong lady detective.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like come on, we get what I'm going for here, you know. But I loved Fringe, and that was like you know, bridged the like Charmed Law and Order SVU.
Right. It was a procedural, but it was like a little bit of like sci-fi, freaky deaky stuff. John Noble's always up to some bullshit.
Exactly. And I was here for it.
That's so interesting, though, that you, again, not to like to the pigeonhole thing, but like that you weren't into Buffy, because I feel like so many people talk about Buffy as like, you know, and the exploration of like a same-sex relationship on that show as like a big access point for so many people.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like couldn't. It's like the nostalgic shows that are like, please, let's all collectively agree that like Charmed, Buffy are not good shows. You know what I mean? Like, so like without having the nostalgia, maybe it's like season 2 of Big Brother. I don't know. That was, but like I can't. I don't know. It's like unless I was there, I don't have the nostalgia for it, and so I think that's why I couldn't get into Buffy. I think I would have been into Buffy if I wasn't so like polarized by Charmed or something. You know, then I think I would have been a Buffy girly.
I think I feel that way with Game of Thrones, where I was like, I didn't watch it live. I missed the hype, and I'm gonna just miss it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I guess to follow up on our conversations last week, Sasha, are you not like chomping at the bit to go back to Westeros anytime soon?
It's cute. It's there. And listen, next time if someone is like, I'm going to do a Game of Thrones, you know, want to watch it, will I go back and be into it? Yeah. But I feel like you had to be there in the hype.
Well, yes. And also it's like so incredibly complicated that if you fall off even for a second, there's no way to get back on that train unless you rewatch from the very beginning. Like that's happened to me. I've tried to watch because that's very much in my like gladiator period piece kind of thing that I'm into. Like I'm watching House of Dragons now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slowly, like I maybe have fallen off, unfortunately, now that Big Brother has started. But I hope to watch that again. But yeah, I fell off. I couldn't get back on the train. It's too complicated.
Yeah, I mean, that's so interesting because I mean, it also makes sense, Izzy, I think, talking about from the very beginning of this, like the shows that you're into now, which is kind of like ways to escape and turn your brain off for a little bit. That it's nice that there are shows out there that like the medium has expanded to include all these deliciously complicated characters and plots and ensembles and worlds. But at the same time, some people may not necessarily want to engage in all that at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that's what I'm getting. It's like sounds crazy to say out loud, but like obviously I'm in good company. That's what I get from reality TV.
Yeah.
Like I just like my brain is working 100% of the time when I'm watching reality TV. And so like I don't want to have to think. Like me and Paige also think we're experts about Alone. I've never been camping. You know, my dreams to be on Survivor. Never been camping. Obsessed with Alone. I judge all. I'm like, they're not focusing on Shelter early enough. You're done. You know, like we are. Like it's serious business.
Yeah, but don't we all do that? Like, haven't we all been watching the Olympics the past 3 weeks? And we're like, you come in being like, I don't know anything about dressage. You come out being like, well, a little tenderfoot there from Paddy Wagon on the release. I think it'll deduct them 0.3 of a point. Like, we all just fashion ourselves experts on something by the end because kind of the fear of living in the unknown and kind of being captive to all this stuff that goes right over our heads is scary to deal with.
Absolutely. 100%.
Ugh,
well said.
Track and field queen. Yeah, no, I'm like, oh my God, this happened. Javelins are come on, India. Like, girl, you ain't never thrown a javelin in your life.
Does it make you want to throw a javelin though, or does it?
I mean, in India, I did. It's not fair. Yeah, like in India, I like did all of the sports because they did this thing called the championship trophy where you had to do like all the indoor and outdoor sports, at least participate, and then you would get points. So I was gonna win it regardless. I just needed to show up to all of these.
What do you mean you were gonna win it regardless?
Look at Tucker. When did Tucker get out of the house? What's going on?
In the 6th grade, guys. But yeah, I was like good. I was really good at track. So like I'd come first in all the like track events. So I just needed to participate in the field events to like check off the. So I've done like hurdles, high jump, all of it, but like in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Does that make you more interested in when this stuff happens?
Yeah, because I was like, I've at least tried it once. Like shot put. Why did I do shot put, bro? 5 foot, nothing. Like, girl, sit down.
Yeah, I saw one of those interviews with like the Olympic champion, and he has like one little skeletal hand and one giant wad of meat. Yeah. And he's like, touch it.
He can't even bend his.
Yeah.
There's they don't do that. Yeah. The fingers.
Bro, and why is everyone in track and field so hot?
So hot.
Like, it's not right. Like, every time they come out, I'm just like, damn. They're so tall. They're hot. Like, yeah. I'm really into tall people anyway. But yeah, here we are.
I mean, that's tough, though, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the Olympics, probably like 90% of the sports require some sort of height, right? Swimming, you got to be tall enough to get to the wall first. Obviously, pole vaulting.
Tori Husk is not that tall.
Sure.
Just shout out to my girl Tori Husk.
Gymnastics probably being the exception.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
like, you want to be short and strong. That's probably
5'10" Italian. She looked wild on the beam. Like,
you shouldn't. I was like, it's not, something doesn't go here.
Oh no! Wow, I get it now. You know,
hit the roof.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
the Olympics have been my like guaranteed. I will stop.
Yes.
I will turn off the live feeds for prime time.
Same.
That's how I've been dealing with the summer thus far.
What's been your favorite
Olympics?
What's been your favorite sport to watch?
I mean, I'm a swimmer through and through. Like I swam super competitively as a kid. I swim on a team now. Shout out to Master Swimming.
Wow.
Like legit. Like this might be the year that I start racing again because I just have the itch now. But I can legit swim and I love that. So I love watching that. Like I freak out, you know, like I was on a team that like Michael Phelps came and visited our team because we had like nationally ranked swimmers as a kid.
Whoa.
So like I also feel like I'm like, oh, I love it. There was like a Paralympic swimmer, obviously also because Matt Klotz was on my season. But that like I was DMing during the day.
Wow.
And she was doing some coverage of and I was like, I love this. Like, I'm there. I love swimming, you know, so I'm very into that. But a new thing that I just was like, wow, I want to watch this all the time is the kayak slalom.
Yes. That is awesome.
Crazy.
Because again, maybe it's speaking towards my wandering attention when I was grinding on the dance floor. But for me, I love like the quick and dirty sports. Like I love swimming and I love track because it's like I like starting and like with the exception of Katie Ledecky in the 1500, like you're done in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I love the slalom because they just kind of let them down these rapids. And they're like, all right, dip under this.
And they drop them from high, too.
Yes, it's outrageous. And as someone that can't swim, to me, that is the bravest of the brave thing to do. That I'm just like, how do you all do that? Because I've done like kayaking and rafting in like class 5. I think I've gone up to rapids. Mind you, can't swim, but that's vibes. But I just find it so fascinating. Yeah. Like I love anything water. Yeah, because I can't do it.
So that's exactly why I love swimming, too. It's because like I barely know how to swim. And so I'm like, I admire these people for just getting in the pool, let alone showing like how they're just absolute freaks of nature by doing this the faster more than anybody in the world. Yeah.
Oh my God. The water polo was crazy to watch. I got really heavy into the water polo. We've got this really great women's team, you know? So like it's amazing. Like that blows my mind that they look like they're standing, but they're trying to, but they look still like they literally look like they're just on their feet. It's amazing.
I mean, that has to be the most exhausting sport because like even if you're standing still, you're still moving.
Yeah. And it's like actually like a rule that if in play you touch the bot or you like do anything to brace yourself, it's like you get like a penalty and you're like out for 2 minutes, or you're like, yeah, it's like the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Archery.
Amazing.
I've been watching a lot of Olympics, I will admit. Like,
It's great.
I love it.
To your point, it's like fun to like throw it on for like 3 hours a night, or like if you're doing stuff during the day. Shout out to Peacock, put on Gold Zone. They show you the best. And it's like, here are all these random odds and ends. There's always something going on. And so you can kind of check it out. And yeah, there is this idea. I've definitely been someone that's been getting more into sports after really growing up without it. And it's like, there is something fun to that sense of competition. It's that invigoration that we get from like a live HOH competition, you know, of like anything can happen. There's people we're rooting for. There's people we're rooting against. And like your mood rises and falls with theirs.
Yeah, well, it's like, we've been talking about narrative, and like Paige has gotten into sports. Paige was not really into sports before meeting me, and I'm huge into basketball and like watching the Olympics. And she first got into it because of like narrative, because in the WNBA, there's a lot of good juicy drama because the NBA never. But so like in the WNBA, it's like wives are on separate teams competing against each other. Ex-wives are now on the same team. You know, like there's all this like that's just built into the league. And so Paige was like, oh my God, those two are like, and so she got into it so she knows everything about every basketball player that is like not basketball related. So she fills me in on all of that, and I can be like, well, she's doing very well this year. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, that's like, for you, Mike, you know, you get into the story.
No, that's exactly how I got into it. Like I found my teams by asking people like, can you give me a team that will like make the, you know, the playoffs pretty much every time and like has a good narrative to them. And so that's how I became like a fan of the Bills. That's how I ended up becoming like a fan of the Kings. Like, all right, I heard Light That Beam and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. But I mean, you talk about like narrative. I did a podcast where like I got NBA teams explained to me, and like there's so much shit in the NBA, which is wild. You have like, oh, here's Kuz Magoo's and he robbed a bank the other day. It's like, what? And he's playing basketball?
That's the NFL. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, Mike says all this, but he is the reigning champion of our fantasy football league.
Oh, I'm very much into it. Like I'm all in now, especially with football. Like I absolutely love it. But I also love
the NBA, oh my God. It's just, I personally have so much hate for so many of them. I'm from Oklahoma. Okay. Kevin Durant will never get any claps from me ever in my life. Okay. And he went to Texas and I went to OU. Like it's never going to be a thing. So I see him succeeding in the Olympics and I was like, no. I want him to score 0 points. Steve Kerr, bench him.
Not my boy, Steve. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Listen, the Warriors, they're nice with me, but Kevin Durant especially. And now that I live in the Bay Area, it's terrible.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. No, but this is why I think sports are exciting, because to me, it's like reality TV. It's not scripted, but boy, the way they do mess. And Noah Lyles versus NBA, what's happening?
No,
I love it.
Did NBA give Noah Lyles COVID? Is there a thing about that?
Like,
I'm into it. Allegedly,
I saw Chappelle was like, they all have COVID. Like, what are you talking about? You're surprised one person is walking around with COVID and there's no protocols, and now they have COVID. Like, everybody's got COVID. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, some swimmers had it too, so he's not wrong. It's just,
well, and we've all heard the stories about the Olympic Village and their cardboard beds. I mean, come on, they all have everything, you know?
Yes. And the STDs that happen,
they getting it in, you know? Like, the COVID is getting in. Like, all of it's getting in.
Do they have like mixers, you think? They have like little school dances? Do they play Get Low?
Oh, it's like known that Olympics is like a sex fest.
Yeah.
Like the Olympic Village is like straight up. Listen, the hottest people at their like peak.
True.
The most ego, the most like they need to world, you know?
Yeah, like, and also they only need to do stuff for like 2 or 3 days. Some for like a week, and then otherwise they've got nothing to do the rest of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I love this for us.
Well, especially when you're going to like some countries where Paris is nice, you could go around and do a bunch of like touristy stuff, but like if you're going to other places and there's bupkis to do, especially if you're the Winter Olympics, like,
oof.
Oh, yeah, they're in that lodge with that roaring fire.
Oh yeah, peak cuffing season.
What a rom-com. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Has there not been a rom-com made yet about the Winter Olympics? Let me look this up.
Eddie the Eagle.
You're done. You're done. Why did you know that so fast? like people would think we edit it. You know, we cut out you thinking or stuff.
Wow, there actually is. There's a movie in 2019 called Olympic Dreams, starring Nick Kroll and Alexei Pappas. That is the Olympic athlete village. A young cross-country skier bonds with a volunteer doctor after her competition ends.
Oh,
There we go.
And also features Gus Kenworthy as himself. Like a supporting role.
Remember when he was everywhere? Like, yeah.
crazy.
God, oh my gosh. I love this. I love this for us.
Oh my God. I wish we could go on and on, much like
I
Katie Ledecky and the
know.
1500.
Oh,
I'm sure this will not be the last time we're going to have you on this because we have so much other stuff to talk about. To your point, I mean, we talk about like the media that makes us. And I thank you for for cracking open your journal quite literally and opening yourself up to everything that has made you into the fantastic person you are. And I'm sure we'll have plenty more to talk about that. Any other stuff you want to say? Any plugs you want to do right now?
Oh, my worst part of everything.
I know.
I don't know. Look, follow me on Twitter at Flute Dyke. That's,
The best gifts, the best reaction images. Why does Izzy have chemo's dreams in GIF form? We don't know.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know, but maybe that's how I'm communicating this summer.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm always watching, just like Big Brother. Okay, I'm spiraling now. No. I have nothing to plug.
Check out Izzy.
You have yourself to plug.
I have myself.
Check out Izzy on Twitter. Check out Izzy's amazing pressure cooker performance.
I was gonna say, if you want to talk about like athletic feats, Izzy stood there for 13 plus hours.
I did. I really needed redemption in some ways, just for myself.
You got it.
Valid.
So I went hard.
You killed it.
I don't want people to sleep on me,
Mm.
I mean, they probably did for like the latter 6 hours when y'all were up until like 3 or 4 in the morning.
I was at a wedding that weekend, so I was staying up late and had to wake up early. So y'all really kept me company when I had to get ready, get hair and makeup done. That's why I was watching.
I'm so happy about that.
All right. Well, Sasha, hopefully you're keeping people company with all the content that you're doing. Anything you want to plug for this particular week?
Yes. Of course, check out Mess Magnets with Kirsten McKennis and I. We're talking all the pop culture events, everything going on in the world. If you're wondering why something's trending, we're talking about it. So check out on Rob is a website /messfeed. Chappelle and I, of course, are talking Below Deck Med. So if you want more horny hookup stories, check out Below Deck Med. Because listen, there's nothing else except people hooking up on a yacht. All right.
Yeah, I guess it's like the Olympic Village all year round.
Correct. It never ends, guys. So please check it out again on RHAP. And for everything else, just follow me on Twitter. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, so my usual stuff, Big Brother coverage is going on. At the time this is being released, we will have officially opened the polls for the Survivor 50 wish list. So you can vote for in the first round of the top 20 people that you would like to see on Survivor 50. And the top 50 of those will make it to the final round of voting. So you can do that. robhasawebsite.com/vote50. Speaking of Big Brother, I was on the Diary Room podcast last week for some fun, stupid chaos there. I was on the Challenge podcast last week. Lots of reality TV stuff going on, but in the realm of scripted TV, I'll be back next week. Sasha, unfortunately, will be missing. She will be missed, but we'll have somebody on, another reality star, to talk some more scripted TV. Thank you all so much for listening. If you have suggestions of who else we should have on from literally anybody from the reality TV community, absolutely let us know, and be sure to check out all the other great We Know Scripted TV coverage we have over here on Rob Has a Podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. Izzy, again, thank you so much. I'll be back next week with another reality TV star covering some scripted TV. Until next time, everybody, it's been real.